History repeats itself. It fails to die. You are now tuned into But What is Life podcast, the ride to relax, relate, and release into reality where things get fun, real, and the advice is unsolicited. What's up? It's your girl Ani, and I'm back to relax, relate, and release into yet another episode of But What is Life. How y'all doing today? I hope y'all doing good because I'm doing absolutely marvelous today. As you can see, I look like I am a customer service representative and I work for AT&T. But at the end of the day, honey, I got to do what I got to do. Okay. Um, I've been having some technical difficulties with my mics. It's like, it's always something. Okay. It's always something with this bootleg setup. And I guess it's God's way of testing me to see if I'm going to keep going and keep doing the work. And I've decided that I am. So I went ahead and got my son's headset, and here we are. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, for today's episode, we're about to get just straight into it. I'm not even about to waste no time because, with these other technical difficulties, cameras always cutting off in X, Y, and Z. I mean, we just got to get straight to it, and it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing to it but to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually getting this topic today's topic from this post that I saw, and it was a man who posted it on Twitter, and he wanted some advice. So it says, my two oldest daughters are into boys. Ladies, what are some things y'all wish y'all dad said to y'all during these stages, like first love / first heartbreak, etc.? I don't want to lose my best friends by saying the wrong things. Help, please. So we're about to dive into this. Okay. The first thing that I would love to say is, just because you're talking to a guy, or you meet a guy, that don't necessarily mean that this is your forever happily ever after man, because I feel like that is something that is a problem within the collective when it comes to us women. And I don't say that from my own personal experience. I say that from the experience of others. I have noticed that when I'm listening to these stories of friends, or not even necessarily just friends, if I come across something and a woman is talking about a guy that she met, it's like this it's like this unspoken rule that is within the collective of women, black women I should say, is that when you meet a guy or you go on a date with a guy, it's like it automatically goes into that we're going to be together. But it's like we have to take it for what it is. Like, just because you meet a person or you even go on a date with a person does not even necessarily mean that you're going to really vibe with the person, or that it's going to even go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that I would say is, just because a man does something one time that you don't like does not mean that you get to ridicule him and say all bets are off and then just end it and but then still expect something of him when you make a decision for yourself. That is something I would say, because that's also something that I noticed. Women will do things in these experiences, and it's all about, well, okay, I'm not perfect, I'm not gonna get it right all the time, but then when a guy does something one time, it's just like the end of the world. Like, I hate that. Like, that's so annoying. Like, we do not give these men like any leg room, leadway, or not. We don't. When it comes to men, I feel like women don't even like give them a fresh shot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's always based off of the last person that you talk to. And in reality, like, you were probably more of the problem than he ever was. Now, I'm not saying that for every case, but I feel like there is this stigma when it comes to women where it's just like a man has no room to fuck up. And it's like you say, "Oh, I'm gonna give him another chance," but you really stacking the odds against his ass. When that every time you do something, that man is sticking around trying to fix it and whatever else. But he's not always calling you out on some shit that you did 3 months ago. You know what I'm saying? So that's those are two main things that I would say. Um uh what my daddy told me, when it comes to these men, you need to be direct, honey. Ain't no, oh, well, let me, maybe he means this or maybe he means that. No, be direct with that nigga. If you feel that a guy is doing X, Y, and Z, you can communicate that, but you can communicate that efficiently and respectfully and move forward. You know, that's another thing. We us women know that when it comes to creating scenarios in our minds, like, we are gung ho with that shit. Like, it don't matter if it's a good situation or a bad situation. Say what you mean and mean what the fuck you say. Don't say something and then not necessarily mean what you actually saying, but meaning something else. Like, men are not mind readers, okay? They're not. They are not mind readers. They are just like you, not knowing shit about the goddamn world and just learning as you motherfucking go. Stop putting all this fucking pressure on these niggas, okay? Stop. As y'all can see, most of these things are, I guess you would deem it, negative things on the woman's end. I feel as a man, he needs to teach his girls up front before they even get too far along and get, comfortable in the toxicity that women like to dwell and soar in. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing. When you talking to your girls and you saying X, Y, and Z, and then they just like, oh no, girl, yeah, you was right, and da 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 this, and not holding your friend accountable and shit. No, let your girls know. Let them know the real up front, and let them know, how a man really thinks. I mean, you're a guy, so you can tell them better than any woman ever could when they sitting there having girl talk. Because these bitches don't be knowing. They just be guessing. Bitch, you guessed it. Okay? So that is, I feel like that is more important more than anything. And then of course, going back to like him just being a man and knowing like the things that he used to do. Not saying that all men go through a phase where they play games and this, that, and the third. But all men, just like all women, go through a phase where you may be dealing with somebody, but you're not necessarily serious about it. Of course, they're kids, so ain't nothing really serious about what the fuck they gonna be doing anyway. But at the same time, this is a learned lesson prematurely before they are grown and out here as adult women doing fuck shit that these fuck women be fucking doing, thinking that they just are entitled to whatever the fuck they got going on in their damn minds. Listen, just because a man like compliments you, or he does anything of like a grand gesture, or just out of his way, because out of the kindness of his heart, be appreciative, because don't no man owe you nothing, honey. He don't owe you a motherfucking thing. I'm about to scroll through so I can see, because he said some other stuff. But he said he talks about his experiences. I just don't want a topic to make them lose trust in me. I need them. He said, I'm taking them both on a date this weekend, and I just want to let them express. Hold on, wait. Decide a boy. Okay. I don't want to mess up this for them. So I truly appreciate y'all help. My 13-year-old's kind of seen me slightly overreact to a boy bullying her. That resulted into her telling her mom about the boy. Yes, I'm hating, but I want to be her first point of contact. I'm also honest with them about things I go through. See, I said that. Like, let them know the real, like what men go through, how they see things, because that transparency is going to be monumental in their experience just with men in general. If my dad was there, I really would have appreciated if he was just real with me. I don't need you to sugarcoat nothing, because that's kind of just how I was as a kid anyway. I was never really into like cartoons and stuff like that. It just didn't tickle my fancy. I was more so into like the more realistic shows, like stuff that resembled real life. That's just always how I have been. So I know if my dad was there and he took a realistic approach with me, honey, I would have held on to that, okay? Um because that's something that I feel like when it comes to talking to your kids about, just life in general, you tend to want to keep it appropriate and not so much like telling them things that they necessarily don't need to be exposed to, which I agree with to a certain extent. But at the same time, they're going to come across these things eventually anyway. So the thing is, it's like it's better for them to have some idea of something from you versus just going out in the world and just learning for themselves. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're a man. They're gonna be dealing with men, so you should be the first one. You should be the first person to be teaching them things about these boys. I mean, there are some things that their mom can tell them just from, a woman's perspective, just on how to conduct themselves as women. But to really get the tea on the men, yeah, I would deep dive into your own experience. If I was him, um, no, not if I was him. If I was his daughters, I would want him to deep dive into his personal experiences, or, just experiences of other people that, he knows or whatever, just to kind of get a well-rounded perspective of, what to expect, all that jazz. Um what is something that I wish my dad would have told me? Okay, this is a question that I actually asked my dad when I talked to him like 2 years ago, and we had a conversation, and I asked him, like, how do you know, how am I supposed to know that a guy is into me? Um and although that's kind of like a broad question, because everybody is not necessarily the same, I still feel like there will be some like core things. And they, of course, that's going off of his own experience as a man, but I don't know. I just wanted to know, like, what he would say. So he actually told me, he said, you have to pay attention to how that man is paying attention to you. It's the little things. So his example to me was, say y'all having a conversation or whatever, and y'all talking about ice cream, and you tell him, oh yeah, my favorite ice cream is chocolate ice cream. And then y'all uh the next time that y'all meet up and see each other, he brings you ice cream, chocolate ice cream at that. It's just like those little things like that, or just different things that he will do. You got to pay attention and notice, like, if there's something that you told him that you didn't like, or uh you had a problem with or whatever, and he like tries to fix that immediately, and you notice that without him actually telling you, oh, well, I remember you said this, so I'm not going to do this because I know that you don't like that. But if you just pay attention to the things that he are doing, and how he is incorporating you and making room for you within his life, like, that'll tell you just how much a man cares about you, and if he's really all about you. He was like, you can talk to a man, and y'all can, you know hang out for some time, for a while or whatever, and you notice that he don't really ask you about your day and stuff like that. He was like, that's when you know a man ain't really all about what he may have said he's all about. Like, if his actions are not, you know if his actions are not speaking for him more than him just talking, then you know that is, some BS. And then going back to what he had told me, he said, I don't care what's going on. I don't care how uncomfortable you may be in a situation, or if you're unsure about how he's going to take something. At the end of the day, do never basically, what he said in a nutshell was, don't stifle your voice for that man, because if you do that, then that man is going to take advantage of that, because first of all, men are not stupid. They know what the fuck they be doing. Especially if you tell a man that you don't like something, and then he goes and he does it anyway, and you don't say anything to him. At that point, you're teaching that man that you're allowing him to disregard you after you already done told him that you don't like X, Y, and Z because he went and did it anyway, but you didn't say shit about it. He was just like, don't do that, because if you don't speak up for yourself, that nigga gonna take that shit and he gonna motherfucking run with it. You give a bitch an inch and they gonna take a motherfucking mile, okay? What else did we talk about? He didn't really tell me like too much. That him telling me to be direct with men, that was pretty much all he really came. Because I asked him, I said, if you were around when I was a little girl, what would be some things that you would tell me when it comes to dealing with men? And right off rip, that's just what he said. And if I'm being completely honest, like, I really think that comes from his own experience. Of course, he didn't tell me this. I don't really know my dad like that. But what I do know of him, he's that type of person where he comes off one way, but that nigga really ain't that way for real. Like, he tries to make himself seem better than what he really is. And when I say better than what he really is, I'm meaning how he really is about to show up. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily him as a person, but just how he shows up. He's definitely given the vibe of hypocritical. You know, he's in the church. So, you know, he has that holier than thou spirit about himself, and he think that his word is bond because he go to church every Sunday. But it's like, nigga, just because you be in the church house don't mean a damn thing. From what I know, Bruh man was a player, okay? He was a player from the Himalayas, you know what I'm saying? And him being a player, honey, that nigga know. I do something with these women. These women tell me one thing, but they wouldn't stay firm on their word or be direct or tell me, you know, X, Y, and Z. So I've used that to my motherfucking advantage, and I kept doing what the fuck I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? I could definitely see through him at that point, but he don't know. He doesn't know that I know. Because yeah, he just don't know that I know about that little tidbit of information. He don't know that I know that. But yeah, I definitely put two and two together with him, honey. But after that, he really didn't have too much to say. I just pretty much had told him about a situation with a guy, and then the conversation pretty much went off of that. But it really kind of stemmed back to what he originally was saying to me. Like, be direct with these niggas. Don't give no fucks about how they feel about it. And don't try to coddle their feelings too much, because at the end of the day, they're not stupid. They know what the fuck they're doing. Especially if that, and he was saying that in the sense of, if it's some fuck shit going on. You know it's some fuck shit. He ain't stupid. He know it's some fuck shit too. That's why he doing it. Cause you know, you don't let him get away with it thus far. So he gonna keep trying it. But don't let a nigga try you, is what he said. I've always been that girl where, and this is as far as like me being single and whatnot in my adulthood. These last 5 years, and majority of those years, my mind was not even focused on a man. So I don't know. Like, oh, I feel like a good thing that a man should tell his daughter is talk to her about submission. Now, of course, this is not for them at the ages of 13 and 14, because he said they was 13 and 14. This is not for them, but just letting them know that, like, for future references, because, and hopefully his idea of submission is right, and it's not the misconstrued way that a lot of these men be thinking about, because we're not even about to get into that. If you haven't already, check out the first season in my episode on submission. But something right now, I feel like, definitely don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I don't say that in a sense of um just be open to entertaining multiple men at the same time, because me personally, that's just not me. Honey, I was not gifted with that skill. That's not something that I can do. I know I can't do it. It's not even something that I've tried, but I know that it's not something that I can do, because I know me. I know me well enough to know that if I'm talking to someone, especially like if I really like the person, I can't really entertain somebody else. I just can't do that, because especially if I like the person, I want to give you my time. But that's not to say that I'm trying to be readily available every time you call. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. Um but not putting your eggs all in one basket. It's like you can exclusively date a person, but at the same time still having time for yourself. Don't allow yourself to lose yourself in a relationship with a man. That is what I mean by saying not putting all your eggs in one basket, because this man that you in this relationship with is not your identity. Like, you are an individual first. You have your own individuality and your own identity going into a relationship. So you need to make sure that you are maintaining that identity and individuality within that relationship as well. Because that's another reason why I feel like women as a collective be so butthurt about, this or that when it comes to their relationships with these men, because we can all agree when we say that a man will not just shut everything down all for his girl. I'm not saying that as far as things that he should not be entertaining. I'm talking about when it comes to his friends. He don't sit there and say, "Oh well, I got a girl now, so I can't hang out with y'all like that no more." That nigga still be making sure that he hang out with his friends. Now, of course, when you are in a relationship, of course, as grown adults, and y'all really secured in that thing, you tend to prioritize. And just because his fellas is meeting up, you know, often, does not necessarily mean that he is meeting up with them. Does not necessarily mean that he's meeting up with them every single time. He's still prioritizing his woman. But that is definitely something that I will say, because women will literally just drop everything. Like, I remember a conversation that I had with my ex before, and he was talking about he was going out with his friends. And it's just like, so what am I supposed to do? He said, hang out with your friends. I was like, now you know I ain't got no friends. Sidebar. That's one thing that I want to tell y'all women. Stop saying that y'all ain't got no friends. Y'all do got friends. Y'all just choose not to hang with them bitches because you want to be up his ass all damn day long. Be real with yourself. Did have friends, but I wanted to cling to his every move. I loved being with him, being around him. And it was just like, you can't go with your friends because then I'm just going to be sitting here by myself. And it's like, what am I to do until you get back? And he really was just like, I'm sorry, that's a personal problem. You got to figure out how you going to fix that because I don't have nothing to do with that. He did not waver at all when it came to that. It's like, I mean, I hear you, but that don't even make no sense. It don't make no sense. And then, the whole thing, me trying to say I ain't got no friends. Okay, we'll go make some new ones. The fuck? What? Like, I'm not supposed to sit here with you all damn day long, aside from going to work. Like, no, we need our space. And that is something that I did not exercise. And a lot of women, I feel like, do not exercise that part of their individuality by taking time for themselves or hanging out with your fucking friends. Like, you do not have to just go rogue on everybody that you care about because you in a fucking relationship. Stop doing that shit. It's tacky, it's clingy, and it's desperate, bitch. Find a fucking hobby. Something that I feel would be beneficial with and within this conversation is allow that man to be vulnerable with you. Think about how you would like to talk to your boyfriend or whatever about anything, and you will want him to really sit and listen to you. You have to do the same as well with these men and not try to pick apart what they saying to try to catch them in some type of lie. Like, okay, wait a minute, this timeline, okay, I remember this, such and such happened, da 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 da. Stop doing that. Like, oh my God, women are impossible. Impossible. Whitney and Brandy's saying it best. Y'all are motherfucking impossible. At this point, I just feel like I'm rambling. Like, I just want to be done and wrap this whole episode up because it is what it is. Like, I ain't got nothing else to say. And on top of that, I'm ready to take these damn headphones off. One thing that I do want to let y'all know, I am changing the name of the podcast. Because, but what is life? It's not giving the girls what they need, because this here podcast stems from my personal healing / spiritual journey. And it was a way for me to kind of just have an outlet, but the fact that I knew other people would be listening, it's not only an outlet for myself, but it's an outlet for my listeners, you all, who really rock with me for real, where I'm creating this space where we can all be comfortable in vulnerability in the different aspects of life through accountability, authenticity, and alignment. So, but what is life is not really giving me what I want. It's not conveying the message I mean, in a way it is, but not necessarily. So, me personally, I want to change it to something that is, the African American vernacular English. I want it to be something, and I want it to be one of those staples. You know what I'm saying? Where any melanated person that comes across my podcast, when they see that name, it's like, it's like the inside joke. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily a joke, but it's definitely an insider. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, I wanted to spark an interest. Like, okay, so let me check this out. Let me see what she's talking about. So I haven't really come up with anything yet. I've been literally scouring is am I saying that right? Let me look it up. Hold on real fast. Scouring. I was using the right. See, this is one thing that I would say about me. I be having words in my mind where I may not necessarily know the technical definition for it, but just knowing what the word sounds like, and especially when I read the context around it, I know what it means. Yeah, I used to love reading just to learn new words. But I have been scouring these different pages on Instagram trying to get some type of inspiration and motivation for this name change. And I'm still just like empty. I want to start off the third season with the new name, and I've also been thinking about starting fresh with my Instagram page as well, like starting a whole new page, because yeah, that's just what I'm feeling. But I definitely want my listeners to be a part of the name change. So once I actually get a couple that I'm really kind of feeling, I'm going to, put it out there to y'all on an episode, and I'll also put it on my Instagram, but what is life dot podcast. I'll put it on there for you guys to vote and all of that. And then once I have the name finalized and secured, then I will definitely let you guys know what the new handles will be as far as like Instagram. I'm also thinking about doing a TikTok, and it'll be changing on here as well. The different streaming platforms, the name, all that is going to change. I'm also going to change it on YouTube as well, but I will still be keeping the old archived episodes from But What Is Life. I'll be keeping those episodes on there, but we'll just be moving forward with the new name. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to tell y'all today, let y'all know about. And I ain't got nothing else to say on that topic. I'm pretty much out talked. I have out talked myself today. I'm tired of talking, to be completely honest. So I'm gonna just leave y'all with that. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode. I love y'all. If ain't nobody told y'all that they love y'all today. And until the next episode, I want y'all to relax, relate, and release into keeping it real with your younger loved ones on this dating tip. Okay? And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.